We've grown fairly rapidly from Roger and I. We started the business. He started in '83 and I joined him in '87, and we've grown to about 50 employees. And part of the growth, we always had a very comfortable family type atmosphere, almost very truly mom and pop. In 1985, when all this began for me, I never would have dreamed that we could have grown into such a wonderful company, taking care of our customers for 40 years and having employees with us for 30 plus years. When I first started working with Roger, he was just a one-man band. I was paid to put panels together, soldering the different components onto the back of the panels. And I did that at night. I had 2 small children. I was a single mom. And then in '87, I started working full-time. And at that time, it was Roger and me building the panels. He said, "You want to go into business, start building this gear?" And I think I was young, naive, and had nothing to lose. And I said, "Sure, why not?"
When I first got here, we were mainly a manufacturing company.
And okay.
Randy Hoover, I'm network administrator.
I knew Roger pretty well, and I think everybody describes him as a genius.
Roger was a brilliant, young, energetic man. He went at everything 120%.
He would just stay there working all night, and the next day you'd see him, and he's right there again. I don't think he ever left.
It was like a scene right out of Pirates of the Caribbean. Man with a shoebox on his shoulder and a big Rottweiler sitting on the ground next to him. Addie had a vision. The vision was to bring in 2 gentlemen, Richard and John. That's when Prime Power Services started.
Richard Canoodle, representing Service Department.
And they asked me to come out and see if I'd be interested in going to work for them. And I'd always wanted to work for Roger. And so at that point in time, truth be known, the game was over. I was going to go work for Roger and Addie.
March 6th of 2000, we closed down the manufacturing company. And then Roger died on April 17th. Everybody thought I was going to quit, I was going to sell, I was going to fold. Roger would have never let me quit. So I decided to keep the lights on. I mean, I'm just really proud we survived these 40 years because there have been a lot of challenges. But proud that our long-term customers that have been with us for 40 years have stuck with us through all the years.
I've worked for Prime Power for 40 years plus. Originally I thought I'm as a generator company, but they are more of a full service, one-stop shop for all. I mean, great with the generators, great with electrical issues. They've always come through for me when I've had complex problems.
When a customer calls, that emergency is their emergency. They don't care what else you're doing. Our competitors will say we can get someone there in 3 days. It's like taking someone to the emergency room and saying, we'll sew you up in 3 days. So the mindset is coming up with a can-do attitude, not reasons we can't do it. And that's been one of our keys to success. And the other thing is God's grace alone, because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for that.
Knowing where we've come from helps us understand where we're going, and by God's grace, we'll get there. The attitude of service is approaching others with humility on behalf of someone else, for the sake of someone else. I did not plan to come into the family business. First, I wanted to serve the country where that was possible, where a story like this is possible. And I like a good challenge, so I went into the Marines and learned a lot about service and hard work in the Marines. So I was happy to think of myself as a lifelong Marine infantry officer. It keeps me grounded. And I think it also teaches me a lot about what's possible in the business. Our technicians do hard work every day. They wake up early every day and they stay up late. They do work that most people don't want to do, and they do it enthusiastically because that's the living, that's the life. It's an exciting time to be in this industry, to be in power and energy in general. The question of power in America is a real one. Where is it going to come from? What resources are going to provide reliable, sustainable power? As we electrify the nation, that electricity has to come from somewhere and it's got to be reliable. So I see us going deeper and expanding regionally, serving larger institutions as a partner, thinking with them about how we can help them maintain their power in the event of utility power outage or with questions of energy resources for the future.